Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. And if you're listening in the podcast, thank you so much for being here. It is September 20th, 2023. I had to come and speak about this story. It's a very shocking story in case you haven't heard yet, but apparently there was a child who died at a New York daycare because of a fentanyl overdose or exposure, okay? So this is very tragic, okay? I think it is one of the most horrible stories, that I ever heard. As you guys know, I love kids, and my mom has been a babysitter for so many years, and there were always kids in my house. And it is so sad to see this when somebody trusts you enough to bring their child, right, to your house, to your place of business, so that you can take care of them while they go and work, excuse me, while they go and work. It must be so sad for I cannot imagine how the parents are feeling to find out that their baby boy died in the hands of somebody else, okay? So this is the story of the daycare in the Bronx, I believe it was, and the death of Nicholas Dominici, okay? The Bronx daycare name is Divino Niño Daycare, which is Divine Child, basically in the Spanish translation. Divine Child Daycare, located in the Bronx. The owner has been arrested. This happened last Friday, September the 15th. Today's the 20th, like I said. She was arrested on Saturday, the 17th. I guess that was Thursday, the 15th. Divino Niño Daycare, and the owner, her name is Gray Mendez. She's a 36-year-old woman, was charged alongside one of her tenants. So the owner of the daycare, right? She was running this daycare from her home in the Bronx, right? Fully registered daycare. They say last week they actually passed the city inspection. So this is all according to the law. This daycare was, in the eyes of the law, doing the right thing, right? And this is so crazy because your life can change at any moment, right? So apparently they're saying this daycare passed the inspection with flying colors, I guess, but they didn't realize that she had a tenant living in the area of the daycare, I guess. And he's the one who was dealing with drugs and fentanyl and all of that stuff, right? So this is why, man, I gotta tell you, and I noticed, I thought about this even when I was younger. You cannot just leave your kids with everybody. And I understand because of financial needs, and the need to go out and work, and you have your child, you don't know what to do, you don't have family members close by. Even family members, you gotta know your people. You gotta know who you're handing your child to. I'm not a mom, but I'm saying, like, you know, looking back at everything, looking back at my life, people are very people are very easy to make them trust you, right? They use flattery, and then they try to, like, joke with the kid in front of you. Oh yeah, look at this kid, so then the minute you leave, they're like complete, like, boss like to the child, and like authoritative, and like they make it seem in front of the parents, oh yeah, we're just gonna have fun. And then the moment the parent leaves, it's like a complete different story. Or certain behaviors they do, or things that they watch on TV. You gotta pay attention. You can imagine now, by listening to what I said, that once I have my kids, it's gonna be cameras. I'm not gonna leave them. God forbid, I'll leave them with just anybody, and that includes family members too. People are, I'm telling you, not that I'm saying that I don't trust people. All I'm saying, you gotta check people beyond reputation, because people always say, oh, yeah, no, he has a great reputation. You have to look more. Come in unannounced, okay? Check on your child. You know, People get used to your schedule, things like that. Coming unannounced. Check what they're doing. Check for changing behavior from your child. And I understand, like I told you guys the same thing about nursing homes and having a family member in a nursing home. Check your people. Check for changed behaviors. okay, for the language, okay. We My mom used to babysit this kid, and the minute he would like, one day he came, right, because that's how much we know the child. He was with my mom for like, I think she started babysitting him, he was like 6 months old, right? So we knew him into all the way he went to school, like until he was 3. But one time he came, it was like a Monday, he came and we noticed that he started like cursing and things like that. And we're like, what happened to him over the weekend? He's not like this. He doesn't curse, he doesn't like try to fight or do karate, nothing like that. And then sure enough, we asked the mom, he's been doing these crazy karate fights and things like that. He's like, oh yeah, over the weekend he was out with his cousins for the whole weekend. He was staying with their cousins, and they're a little older and things like that. And we're like, some change behavior there, because we know him and we had never noticed him like cursing and saying things like that. Kids pick up on behavior, on different things very quickly. They're like a sponge. They observe and they try to do it immediately. They practice things and language and all of that. So you gotta know that, right? If you bring a child to a place, and the next thing you know, they're at home and they're like cursing, or like, you know trying to fight and things like that, who they spend their time with is not a good thing for them. That's how you know, because you know your child, you look at change behavior, okay. And I know working moms, it's hard to find help, right? And it's fine to find something that is convenient to you. You're going to work, right? Dealing with the just having a job is as stressful as it is, right? Having to get up and get your child ready and bring him to a daycare, and you can be like, it's so conveniently located, it's affordable, and they have a lot of kids there. I'm sure he's going to be fine. And I know this is probably the last thing they thought that it was going to happen to the child. And it's one of these cases that, wow, man, sometimes you want to, like, put it on yourself and be like, man, I check every reputation, I check their feedback, I check they pass inspection. Yeah, there was something else hidden in that daycare. And it's not the fault of the parents, of course not. It's just that this is things that is so unfortunate. And um I'm sure the owner of the daycare is probably living. She probably thought that this was never gonna be caught, because they're saying now apparently they were doing a kind of like a drug ring from that place. So it's not like somebody she rented a room to, like it's the cousin of her husband she was renting a room to, who live, like his room was near the daycare, the space for the daycare where she operated the daycare. So it's not like, um it was like, oh my goodness, we didn't know, we were helping him out. We rent him a room. He was paying rent, and we had no idea he was doing fentanyl or things like that. No, apparently the investigation, they're saying now there something more was happening in that place, some type of drug ring that was operating from that place, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have to drive, I mean, I'm not blaming anybody. All I'm saying is, like, you learn from cases like this, right? If you have to come one day from work and you don't, they expect you to come by 5, show up one day at 1 p.m. and see what you see, right? And see it, and be, don't ever feel bad for checking on your child. Like, come on, that's your child, right? That's the place where you live in your child every day. If you have to drive on a Saturday night, drive by the place to see anything that you might see weird. Because, I say Saturday nights because you see things on Saturday nights. There's a lot of things that happen in neighborhoods, right? So if you take a drive by, right, this is just my personal advice, something that I will do, right? You drive by, if you see some type of, maybe a group of like men gathering around outside the daycare, and the daycare door is open, like, why would it be open, right? Like, that is strange. what is this place known for, right? I mean, could have, it shouldn't could have happened. Maybe the police was looking for somebody one day. Who knows? So you look at behaviors and you look at places like that, and then you're like, okay, maybe I gotta do something about this, right? And the unfortunate thing, besides losing this child to this, unfortunate event, is that he wasn't there for that long. So I'm gonna read to you guys briefly a little bit so that we can understand better the actual thing that happened, okay? Let me just read to you this article. Bronx Divino Niño daycare owner was arrested on Saturday, September 17, after a 1-year-old infant, Nicholas Dominici, died from apparent opioid poisoning, okay? And he died on her watch, okay? Divino Niño daycare owner Gray Mendez, 36, was arrested and charged alongside one of Mendez's tenants, Carlisto Acevedo Brito, 41, after an infant, Nicholas Dominici, died and three other children were hospitalized over fentanyl poisoning. The NYPD said that Nicholas and the three other children, an 8-month-old girl and a pair of 2-year-old boys, fell ill on Friday, September the 15th, after they were exposed to the opioids at the daycare center while on Grace Mendez watch. First responders who were called to the scene found the children unresponsive and showing signs of opioid exposure. The responders tried to revive the children after giving them opioid poisoning antidote Narcan. However, 1-year-old Nicholas did not survive. Meanwhile, the three other children were rushed to a hospital where they are recovering from fentanyl poisoning. What a nightmare, you know? You cannot imagine something so tragic to happen like that. The family of the baby boy who died, Nicholas Dominici, speaks out. Let me see. But the owner, right, Gray Mendez, and Carlisto Acevedo, which is the tenant, right, apparently is the cousin of her husband's cousin who was renting a room in that place. Like I said, 41-year-old, were charged, are accused of murder, manslaughter, and assault, and various drug charges, right? That's why they looks like they were running a drug ring from that place. Man, you gotta take, I'm not blaming anybody, like I said, but I don't know. I learned my lesson from people who try to flatter you, and sometimes people tell you what you want to hear, especially when they want your business, right? Yeah, we'll take care of it. Everything else said, like, I don't know, I gotta, if it sounds weird, like if you feel that feeling, like, I don't know, something's a little off here, right? Um, let me see. Authorities say that they discovered a kilo press, an item used to package drugs, when they searched the daycare. So imagine this group of kids, because when people are trying to buy, when people are trying to buy illegal drugs, they don't care. They don't say, oh, wait until the daycare closes and come at night. If they need it, if they have the cash, I'm sure they're gonna be, so imagine if a shooting happened, then you have your kids in the way, right? Anything could happen, and something did happen in this case. It's so sad, right? That's why you have to, man, take the effort to go deeper. And I know, because of need, right? Because of need, and convenience too. Like I said, oh, I don't even have to take the bus. I can just walk to this place, drop my kid off, and go off to work, right? It's so conveniently located. Like I said, take a look around, right? Pass by on a Saturday night, show up on a time that they're not expecting you, right? Things like that. Keep an eye out. Check your children's behavior, because you're gonna pick on it, right? It's your kid. You know if something changed, right? So that's what I'm saying. It's just so sad that this baby boy lost his life like that. And let me see if I was gonna tell you that he hasn't been going there for that long either. Um, the mom said he was so intelligent. He would repeat everything you would say to him. He has so much love. Everyone who knew him appreciated him, and all his neighbors. We spoke to one of the verse 17 and 18. Excuse me, I'm not sure what's happening. Saying, we give thee thanks, O Lord God Almighty, which are and was and are to come. Hi everybody, sorry about that interruption, but I'm back again. So I learned also that some people this daycare opened in January of this year, right? And some people were so excited they actually had their kids in their on their waiting list because apparently this daycare is so popular, so conveniently located, so affordable. And not only that, it passed all the health inspection by the city, right? And I heard one of the people in charge from the city saying, "Oh, we don't train our people to check for fentanyl." Like what? That's such a negligence. I'm sorry. This is don't say that, okay? Like the way he said it, like I guess we're gonna have to train people for that more. Like, what are you really looking for then, right? You have to be more. You have to look deeper than that to say to somebody, yeah, you can have, you can operate this from here, right? Did you check that she was renting rooms? Like, that's important. Okay, you're not just gonna have a daycare running a daycare and be like, oh yeah, behind that door I rent that room, and behind the other door I have another person who rents a room. It's like, wait a second, you have kids in the middle here, and then every other door leads to somebody who rents a place here. No, okay, unacceptable. But they're like, oh, we don't tell people to check for fentanyl, things like that. I guess we're gonna have to now. That is so disrespectful. I don't even know who that guy is who spoke like that. It's just, come on, have respect for the family first of all. If especially if you work for the city, don't come out and say things like that, right? I thought that was so sarcastic for him. This is a very sensitive subject. It's so sarcastic for him. It's like, be responsible and be like, you know what, we missed this one. We made a mistake. We gave this lady a pass. Everything was great. They probably, they don't want to say it, but it's a new business. They don't want to shut it down, right? Because, it's we got to keep the economy going. We got to keep it moving, right? We're going to, everything's great. You're doing great, right? Um, that anything could happen, right? All I'm saying that this is so sad. So prayers for the families affected by this. It is so sad. You go on TikTok and you see all these videos of parents picking up their child from daycare. Like, I'm so sensitive to kids. Like, even if I see them all sitting down, kids 1 and 2 year old, they want to get up and run. And I know there should be sitting times, but don't force kids to just sit down when they it's a daycare, right? Like, you have toys and things like that. And that's, I don't know, man. It's just some of the videos, they're so cute because they're like waiting for the parents to come pick them up. And some of them, like, you question it, like, like that daycare that was throwing cheese on kids faces. Like, what is going on with people these days, man? I tell you, you gotta check. You gotta come some days unannounced to pick up your child. Check, speak with other parents too, okay? Become familiar with other parents. And, it's not, if you have a hunch about something, it's a reason that you have that, right? There's a reason. Go deeper, investigate more, and don't go, because people tell you, people know how to play, right? They know how to play the business game, right? They'll tell you what you want to hear and things like that. So look, look at red flags like that, change behavior, things like that. um and ask question, like that daycare had doors that led to other people's room. Just be like, oh, what is that door for? Is that like the bathroom or something? Maybe she would have said, oh no, I rent that room to my cousin, and I rent that other room to another person. It's like, wait a second, these people they can just come out of their rooms, right, and be within the kids. Like, I don't know who those people are. Like, are they licensed caretakers. Like, what is this, right? And people be like, oh no, he only comes at night, right? Because that's what people do. When they rent rooms to somebody else, they be like, oh, they're never here. They work all day and they come like at 10 p.m. and then they leave by 5 a.m., right? They tell you what you want to hear. So just be in the lookout for that. So it's such a tragic story. One thing I must say before I finish, guys, and if you're listening to this in the podcast, please go to GoFundMe right now, make a donation to help this family. The name you're gonna search on GoFundMe, Nicholas Dominici. If you're here watching on YouTube, I'm gonna put the link in the description. Please go help this family out. Um, I think the child has been going to the daycare for 2 weeks. So this family, excuse me, went through this ordeal of just leaving your child probably for the first time at this place, and look at what happened. What a nightmare for them, right? Such a tragedy. So go help them out if you can, or share. You can just share the link for the GoFundMe. So, like I said, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm gonna put it here, and if you're listening on the podcast, please go ahead and search for Nicholas Dominici on GoFundMe, and you're going to see there the fundraising that they're doing for the family. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to this podcast and watching on YouTube. Have a great day, everybody. God bless.